my first video game that I got was Pokemon Yellow. This was back in, when I was 6 or 7. I got a Game Boy Advance, started playing Pokemon Yellow. Loved it. Also, whereas the first place where I learned the word evolution, because Pokemon evolve. Not that it affected my biology, but it's a really fun game. Over time, I guess, growing up in India, because internet connection was a rarity back in those days, so going to gaming cafes and playing Counter-Strike and stuff was always fun with everybody, and FIFA at somebody's house. But nowadays, I've kind of tended to move towards more single-player stuff. Because of my academic situation, I've kind of moved from place to place, so I don't have a desktop. I just have a laptop, and I've recently upgraded to now where I can play, with AAA kind of titles. I've spent, hopefully my parents aren't watching this, but I've spent way too long playing Dota 2. That's my main game. Currently, I'm enjoying Destiny 2 as well. It's in the best place that it's been in quite a while. I've also kind of been a fan of finding these smaller indie games, that cost very little but provide so much more interactivity.
Have you played Goat Simulator?
I have played Goat Simulator, a lot of fun. It's a good way to waste a couple of hours. But I think one indie game that I'm playing right now that is quite unlike a lot of games that I'm playing is called Sable. It is a beautiful sort of 3D cel-shaded graphic kind of thing where there is no goal. Really, the journey is the game, where you do different things and you are in control. There is no map marker. You have things to do, but you can do them at your own pace. So yeah, that's I should not have so much free time. I will not in the future, but this is what I've been doing at the moment.
Fun fact, Pokemon is the highest grossing franchise of all time.
Yep. Sorry, to go back to your question of some of my favorite games of all time, this is a genuinely hard question because I think it's a bit apples and oranges in certain cases. I would say Pokemon is one of my favorite ones primarily because I have the nostalgia for it, even though the most recent releases haven't been as good. Dota is a fantastic game and easily one of the best gaming experiences I've ever had, but it is not a game I would recommend to anybody because of the sheer time investment that you need to put into it just to even get good. I've put in 3,000 hours. I'm still not good. I don't think I will become good at the game. So I don't think I have a favorite of all time, as bad as an answer that is.
What about some of the games that we've played together? CSGO.
CSGO is
FIFA.
I haven't played FIFA in a long time actually. I don't know anybody that has it. And if anybody is paying attention to a lot of the news about EA and the way they are releasing FIFA, it is not in a good position. But I still remember sleepovers at somebody's place and playing FIFA with everybody. It's a lot of fun.
And then there's the new battle royales, and there's GTA, of course.
GTA is good. I don't think GTA 6 is coming out anytime soon.
WWE SmackDown vs. Raw and all of those PS1 and PS2 and PS3 titles.
Yeah, good memories of that.
Yeah.
But the joy of playing with somebody, couch co-op is...
Yeah, that's the problem. So split screen games are no longer being preferred by developers, not only because nobody's playing them, like everybody's playing from their own consoles, and also because it reduces the quality, the graphics.
I disagree with that. There are some really good split screen games that are still available.
I love split screen
and very popular.
Like in fact, the last sorry to interrupt, but the last split screen game that I really enjoyed was on the PS3, Call of Duty Black Ops 2 Zombies.
You are missing out on a lot of more recent stuff. I think some of the joy of it's not exactly split screen, but couch co-op style stuff. I got my parents to play Overcooked. If you play,
I love Overcooked. I have Overcooked 1 and 2. Yes, definitely love Overcooked.
I have Overcooked.
In fact, I'm glad you brought it up because I completely forgot about it, and it's something that anybody can pick up so quickly.
I managed to get my parents to actually listen to me and play with it, and it's.
In fact, that's why I think the Wii was so successful because of how easy it is for just anyone and everyone to play, and the amount of games. In fact, it was that one Wii Resort that had so many games. And there are so many memes about the game and the characters and the gameplay in general, even today.
It's definitely shifted a bit in terms of not being couch co-op or split screen or whatever, but playing multiplayer has become so much more convenient nowadays. And yeah, there are a lot of games that I would recommend even to first-time players. And not just, one of the things I'm also trying to get more people aware of is that video games at the moment I think video games are art for a very different reason that a lot of people might consider what is art. And if a lot more people are open to it, they can find an experience that no other form of media can really give them, in terms of not just a story or an experience that they can have, but something that actively challenges them to experience. A book will continue regardless of whether you're paying attention or not. A movie has a definite runtime. But a video game stops when you put down the controller. The story does not progress. So it demands a certain attention from you, as well as opening you up to experiencing something certainly that very few other forms of media can actually give you. Whether you want the more heartfelt things of like a Last of Us, which is a very story-driven game, but at its core, a very human story. Or if you have like a Journey, which is, there are no words, but just the music and the environment around you can transport you and tell you a very basic story of the hero with 1,000 faces.
Five Nights at Freddy's.
If you want horror, yeah. Sure. That's
Shadow of the Colossus.
Uncharted. Yeah, Uncharted as well. And you see that Hollywood is now kind of using some of these video game stories as well to become movies, and they do
Far Cry.
They do it badly. Far Cry as well is a good example. And
Star Wars, the amount of Star Wars games that have come out, and some of them are quite good.
Yeah, there's a lot of them, and there was actually a couple announced last week, the video game awards. But yeah, it's there is so much more to video games, and obviously with the current generation being more receptive to it, I think the idea that video games are this thing that will need people with glasses sitting in basements playing.
I think we're moving, as we all know, into the Metaverse, where there'll be an intersection.
I do not like the Metaverse at all, primarily because I do not like Mark Zuckerberg, but please don't kill me. I think the Metaverse is an interesting concept.
I think there's going to be an intersection and conjunction of movies, TV shows,
absolutely.
books, real life, merchandise.
So to give you an example of that, The Mandalorian, one of the most famous TV shows of the last few years, the way they've shot The Mandalorian is a very interesting viewing thing. If you have the time, please check it out. But the backgrounds are not a traditional green screen backgrounds. What they've done is they've used a sort of 360, not exactly 360 degree LED sort of panels, and simulated the entire universe or the surroundings using the Unreal.
Like a video game.
No, using the very specific. Using that exact engine, the Unreal Engine 5, and there is a bit of a documentary about it where you can see, and a lot of what the director realized is that the customizability of using a video game engine can create something very true to life, but also malleable and not as frustrating to film. And that's just one of the small places where video game technology is actively helping push the boundaries of film and media. So it's a very, very good time to sort of be a nerdy side of technology sciences as well. So yeah, I don't.
Also, I'd like to take this opportunity to give an example regarding Overwatch and Overwatch 2, also because it's my favorite game. I think I have more than 100 games, and yet that's the only game I play on console and PC. I was watching a behind the scenes shoot of how they the voice lines, how they generate the voice lines for all the characters, and how they use the sound effects. So for Overwatch, there's a character called Soldier 76 where they go to a very specific valley and with a very specific gun, and then they record it, and that's how they. So it's very interesting, and it's a great time to be a geek, and in fact it's become cool now to be someone who's a nerd or a geek per se.
And then when you look at like the visuals, you look at the music side of things. You look at.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but this reminds me. You recommended a great YouTube channel that regarding the music.
I'm probably the only person I know who listens to this kind of stuff, but Austin Wintry is a music composer who's done stuff for Journey, for Abzu, and most recently The Pathless, and he's done a bunch of other stuff as well. And he's got a podcast called You Gotta Hear This, which is him talking to video game voice actor Troy Baker, and the way Austin structures the podcast is he, because of his sort of classical background, taking an example of a certain movie or a certain TV show or whatever it is, and breaking down the way the music is structured. I don't really know much about music, but having that explained in such a beautiful way coming from somebody who I know has a very similar sort of background in terms of thinking about it. It's a very good podcast. Would recommend. I don't know if I can do it on somebody else's podcast.
No, definitely. I mean,
but yeah. So music is evolving and changing in incredible ways that, video games have helped push it into a new level, I guess.